Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We invoke the grace and blessings of our entire Guru Parampara and Sri Mahalakshmi as we dwell on her stories, her symbolism, her life, and her glory. So today, the topic will be Mahalakshmi. As I mentioned, that this weekend we are having a curriculum retreat for the summer camp. And so our Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, they are preparing the curriculum and we are going through each Devi. Yesterday, we have completed reflecting on Durga Devi. Today, we will reflect on Lakshmi Devi. So, who is this Lakshmi Devi? First, when we think of the name Lakshmi, what does it mean? Laksh means goal. Lakshmi is the one who takes us to the goal. And she takes us to the goal by providing us the inner wealth of virtues and outer wealth also. So Lakshmi is also synonymous to Sampati. Sampati means wealth. So that wealth which we need to seek the higher, that material wealth, that material prosperity, which we need to seek the higher, and that inner wealth of virtues, that is represented by Lakshmi Devi. Lakshmi Devi is also known as many, many names. So sometimes she comes in the form of Sita, Sita Devi. She's also known as Rama, Priya, Padma, Kamala. All of these beautiful names are of Lakshmi Devi. Her form is very, very beautiful. She's, yesterday we talked about Durga Devi. Durga is a ferocious form, Durga Devi. She's got all kinds of weapons and skulls all around her, and she rides on a lion. She's ever ready to fight, ever ready to fight against all low tendencies and false values. When we think of Lakshmi Devi, she comes in a very beautiful, calming, and peaceful form. So usually she's represented by 4 hands. One hand, she will have this Abhaya Mudra. So her hand would be up. She bestows fearlessness on all of her devotees. Another hand would be facing down like this, Varada Mudra. So she also gives boons. She gives boons to all of her devotees. Another hand will have an Akshaya Patra. So this inexhaustible wealth, this vessel of inexhaustible wealth. Sometimes it's shown through coins flowing from her. But basically, she is abundance. She represents abundance. And on one of her hands, she'll also have a lotus. So that's why her name is Padma, lotus, Kamala, lotus. And this lotus is very symbolic because we all know that the lotus is born in mud, but it still shines out in its pristine beauty. So, no matter how muddy things are, how dirty things are, the lotus still seems to be taintless. And that is Mahalakshmi. No matter what happens in the environment outside, what's going on, she still shines so brightly. Another thing about the lotus is that the leaves of the lotus, they don't get wet. So even if water is on the leaf, it doesn't get wet. So she will be in and through all of her daily transactions, but she won't get affected by it. She always maintains her composure and her calmness. So you will see her face, very pleasing face. You won't see Mahalakshmi disturbed. She's not that kind of person. She's always very calm. And she'll do everything also. It's not that she won't do, she'll do everything. She'll get involved in everything, but ever detached. Another symbol of the lotus is these flowers, they unfold and they grow. They take their own time to grow. See, with Durga Devi, destruction can happen in moments. When we destroy a building, in moments, right? But to construct a building, how long does it take? It takes very, very long, right? So to grow virtues takes a long time. It is like the blooming of a flower. It's not overnight. Some people might say, I've tried to work on this virtue for so long, for many years, but it's still not happening because it takes time. To do tapasya, the Pandavas spent 13 years, 13 years in tapasya. Sri Rama and Sita Devi, 14 years. So we think that we've done, 1 month of japa, 2 months of japa, nothing is happening. Please know that all of these things take time. They take time. So that's shown by the lotus. And also, this lotus, it opens in the daylight but closes at night. So if you notice that when you're passing by a lotus pond, the sunlight, it opens up. But in the night, it closes. So it goes to show that whenever it's in the company of brightness, of light, of divinity, then it opens. But whenever there's darkness, it protects itself from that. So that is how to keep virtues. To cultivate virtues takes time, like a flower blooming, but to maintain virtues, it is important to be in the company of those who are virtuous, like the sun, like brightness, like effulgence, and to avoid company which is not virtuous. Only then can we truly blossom and grow. At some point in time, when we are virtuous enough, when virtues become natural to us, then it doesn't matter where we are. But till that time, we have to be careful of the company that we keep to make sure that we keep blossoming. This Lakshmi Devi also, she has several vahanas. Vahanas are the vehicles of goddess. So sometimes we'll see her with Garuda, the eagle, and sometimes we'll see her with Gaja, the elephants. Seen popular picture of Lakshmi Devi with elephants. Sometimes we'll see her also with an owl. So what does this all represent? When we use that inner and outer wealth to go higher, to pursue the higher, that is symbolized by Garuda, because she's sitting on Garuda and Garuda is taking her higher, flying high. When we use outer wealth and inner wealth for glory, for majesty, for luxury, that is represented by the elephants. Elephants, they represent majesty, glory, that whole kind of splendor. When we use our inner wealth and our outer wealth for wrong purposes, that is the uluka, the owl. Because the owl is that animal who can't see so much in the daytime. It's a nocturnal animal, right? So in the daytime, it has vision, but very limited. So when we are blinded by our inner wealth and outer wealth, that is symbolized by the owl. But the owl has contradictory qualities. The owl is also very wise and intuitive. Huh? So, one way of also looking at the owl is that vehicle or that vahana of wisdom and intuition. So, it has these two aspects. So, this is how Goddess Lakshmi looks. This is how she appears. This is what she symbolizes. Now, today, I thought that I would share with you Ashta Lakshmi, the 8 different forms of Lakshmi Devi, and how she comes into our life. So we will start first with the first form, which is Adi Lakshmi. So the 8 forms are Adi Lakshmi, Dhana Lakshmi, Dhanya Lakshmi, Gaja Lakshmi, Santana Lakshmi, Dhairya Lakshmi, Vidya Lakshmi, and Vijaya Lakshmi. So sometimes parents, they name their daughters as all these different forms of Lakshmi, which is very, very beautiful. So you'll see Raja Lakshmi, Vidya Lakshmi, Jaya Lakshmi, Vishalakshi. Vishalakshi is actually Parvati Devi, but Raja Lakshmi, like those names, Raja Lakshmi, Jaya Lakshmi, are the names of Lakshmi. Adi Lakshmi. So, how did she come to be? So, Lakshmi, as we know, she is this power, she is this inner wealth and also outer wealth. And the Asuras found out about her. So, Asuras, one thing that's great about them is they're very good with their tapas. They're very, very good with their tapas. They know how to really do or perform austerities. And they performed austerities praying to Lakshmi, and she came to the Asuras. But they didn't treat her very well. They misused the wealth that she had given. So she left. She left and she said, I am going to the Devatas. And I'm going to Indra Devata. He's the king of the Devatas. I'm going there. And she goes. And Indra Devata also got consumed by all of his wealth. What happens when people have so much wealth? Sometimes they drown in it and they forget everything around them. They become so proud and so greedy and so haughty. They just get lost in their wealth. That happened to Indra. And every time there is something to be done, the famous Durvasa Rishi comes. And he comes and he says, let me put this Indra in his place. And so Durvasa Rishi comes and he says, oh Indra, I have this garland for you. Very beautiful garland. But Indra was just, totally in his wealth, enjoying all the pleasures. He just threw the garland on Airavata, his elephant. So Durvasa Rishi didn't do anything, didn't say anything. But because Indra threw it, it was loose around Airavata and it fell. It fell on the ground and Airavata stepped on it. Now that was it. Durvasa Rishi said, what is this, Indra? I have given you a gift and your elephant has stepped on it. Do you value anything at all in life? What has happened to you? You've become blinded. I curse you. And I curse all of these devatas. You will lose all of your wealth. You will lose your wealth. You will lose your youth, your vitality, your energy. You will lose everything. And let that Lakshmi go away from you. And so Lakshmi left. Where did she go? To the Kshira Sagar, Kshira Samudra. She went to the ocean of milk. And so the Devatas got very upset and they went to Bhagavan Vishnu. They said, now we have lost Lakshmi. We have lost all of our wealth, and we have also lost our youth, our splendor. What do we do? Bhagavan Vishnu said, Lakshmi has gone to the Kshira Sagara, the milky ocean, and the pot of Amrita is also in that ocean. Now you work with the asuras and you start churning that milky ocean. So now I'm sure you all know the story of the milky ocean churning. So Bhagavan manifested as Kurma the tortoise. And on Kurma the tortoise, there was a Mount Mandara. And with that Mount Mandara, they used Vasuki, the serpent, and they were churning the milky ocean. And when they were first churning the milky ocean, the first thing that came out is poison. And Bhagavan Shiva drank it. And slowly, as they were churning and churning, several things came out. And before Lakshmi came out, something else came out. What is that? Alakshmi. Lakshmi Devi's sister, Alakshmi. Huh? Alakshmi is this force of total disaster. All these wrong things is Alakshmi. And Alakshmi came out of this churning of the milky ocean. Now, nobody wanted Alakshmi. And she said, where will I stay? They said, you stay in the places where there's a lot of crime, a lot of disorder, a lot of greed and pride and lust and chaos. You stay in all of those places where elders are not respected, where they're not treated well, where people are quarreling. You stay there. And so that became Alakshmi's abode. So Alakshmi stayed in all of those places. Now, they were churning and churning and churning the ocean of milk. And suddenly, one very beautiful lady came out. She was wearing a red and gold sari, red and golden sari. She was Lakshmi. And she came with three things. She came with the wish fulfilling tree. She came with that wish fulfilling tree. And then she came with Kamadhenu, that wish fulfilling cow. And she came with Chintamani, that wish fulfilling gem. So now imagine you see a very beautiful lady, now full of jewels and accessories, totally bedecked in beauty. She comes out of this milky ocean. She has a wish fulfilling tree, a wish fulfilling cow, and a wish fulfilling gem. Now, which man would not want to be with her? Everybody was looking at her. She's so beautiful. Everybody was looking at her. And she came with a garland. She was going to marry somebody. Everybody was looking at her saying, please marry me, please marry me. She said no. And she walked past them. There was one person not even looking at her. He's looking at the Milky Ocean. His legs are dangling on the Milky Ocean. He's just sitting there, cool and casually. This always happens in love stories, right? You go for the one who doesn't like you. Same thing with Bhagavan and Lakshmi Devi. This also happened. He was not even paying attention to her. And she looked at him. She said, I want to marry you. And he looked at her. He said, well, okay. I mean, you're coming to me. You're so beautiful, so wonderful. Fine, let's marry each other. And she placed the garland on him and they got married. And this was Bhagavan Vishnu. And ever since then, Bhagavan Vishnu, he said, you will always be part of my heart. And everybody who calls me should call me Sriman Narayan. or Lakshmi Narayan, because I am always with you. And that's how they got married. Huh? So when we say Shri Ram, Jaya Ram, that Shri is Lakshmi. When we say Shri Krishna, Sharanam Mama, that Shri is Lakshmi. When we say Shri Satgurunatha Maharaj, that Shri is Lakshmi. And he said, you will always be with me. Whenever I take birth, you will come. So when Bhagavan came as Rama, then Lakshmi Devi came as Sita. When Bhagavan came as Krishna, Lakshmi Devi came as Rukmini. So that way, Bhagavan Vishnu said, in every birth that I have, you will be there right beside me. And people will call me Lakshmi Narayan, Sriman Narayan. And that is why also in our culture, in our tradition, when people get married, they are seen as Lakshmi and Narayan. They're not seen as Uma Maheshwara. No married couple is seen as Uma and Maheshwara because you will be in trouble. Maheshwara is with all this ashes and from a cremation ground and all of that jata, all his hair is all over the place. And Uma also, she's fasted, she's done so much tapasya, there's barely anything left of her. But you will see Narayan bedecked in all gems, all royalty, and you will see also Lakshmi decked in all beautiful gems and all glamour. That is how people are supposed to get married, Lakshmi and Narayan. Hmm? So this is their story. This is Adi Lakshmi. And that day where Lakshmi Devi came out of the Kshira Sagara, that day is also known as Deepavali. Deepavali. So in Satya Yuga, Deepavali is the day that Lakshmi Devi came out of the Milky Ocean. In Treta Yuga, it is that day where Sri Rama had returned to Ayodhya. In Dwapar Yuga, it is that day when, after slaying the demon Narakasura, Sri Krishna returned back. And in Kali Yuga, it is that day of knowledge, that day of brilliance, that day of light. So, in this way, Lakshmi Devi's story is also related to Deepavali. That's why we worship her on Deepavali, because that's the day she emerged. And so we'll find a few days before Deepavali, there's Dhanteras. Dhanteras, where people buy gold and jewels and clothes and everything as a symbol of wealth. And on Deepavali, they worship Devi Lakshmi. So a lot of people, they'll start new accounts that day in their offices, in their places of work. Everything they will start new. They will have new clothes, new everything as a worship of Lakshmi. Hmm? So this is Adi Lakshmi. This is how she has come to our lives. So she is this beautiful force of not only, as I said, outer wealth, but also inner wealth of values and virtues. The second form of Lakshmi is Dhana Lakshmi. Now, Dhana Lakshmi is the Lakshmi of wealth. Now, sometimes people have this idea that Lakshmi is Chanchala. You've heard that Lakshmi doesn't stay in one place. Lakshmi is Chanchala. Chanchala, she moves a lot if they people misuse wealth. So she was first with the Asuras, she left. They misused wealth. She was with Indra Devata, she left also because he misused wealth. Then she came to Narayana and she never left Narayana because Narayana does not abuse wealth. Narayana uses wealth to sustain the entire world. And Puja Gurudev always said that whenever you are doing the work of Narayana, Lakshmi will follow. She will always be there because that's where she stays. So she stays in the place where wealth is treated properly. And wealth is also given, it's not hoarded and stored. But Narayana, he shares his wealth, he gives his wealth, he makes sure that everybody benefits from it. He doesn't keep it for himself. That's where Lakshmi stays. And we'll find also sometimes that the uh, picture of Lakshmi massaging Narayana's feet. And people who always ask this question, why is she doing that? That's actually a symbolic representation that wealth should not all come to our head, whether it be outer wealth or inner wealth. The minute that we take inner wealth to come to our head, say, I'm such a good person, I'm such a virtuous person, I'm so kind, I'm so gentle and loving, we will get into trouble. And the minute that we have outer wealth come into our head, we will also get into a lot of trouble. So, therefore, Lakshmi is shown to be at the feet to tell us that all the time this wealth of virtue and this outer wealth has to be surrendered to a greater purpose. Uh, so it's a deep symbolic meaning. It's not, you know, to be misinterpreted as anything else. Now, in Dhana Lakshmi, there's a story which I'm sure you know of Adi Shankaracharya ji when he was going for bhiksha one day. He was a very young boy and he was going for bhiksha. And he went to this lady's house and she had nothing to give. She had nothing in her house. She had only one amalaka, amalaka gooseberry. And she gave that to Adi Shankaracharya ji. And when she did that, Adi Shankaracharya ji was so touched that this lady has nothing, yeah, absolutely nothing, and she still gave me whatever it is she had. He then sang this Kanakadhara Stotram. Kanakadhara means flowing of gold, flowing of wealth. When he sang this Kanakadhara Stotram, Lakshmi Devi was so pleased and showered wealth upon this old lady. And till today, it is believed that that house of the Kanakadhara Stotram is still very wealthy, still very wealthy, because that Stotram has that power. So much so that one of our Swamis, this was a story that one of the Swaminis actually told me. She said, uh, you know, whenever they they needed money, see, sometimes in spiritual life also we wonder why are we invoking wealth? Because without wealth we can't seek. Without wealth we cannot even come to a Vedanta class. We need that basic amount of wealth to be able to stabilize ourselves and secure ourselves so that we can seek higher. And so that's why we invoke it. We don't invoke it to gain pleasure and luxury and comfort. We invoke it because we need some basic thing to function. Even here, we need some basic thing to function. So anyway, that Swamiji, they needed some basic wealth for the center to function. He went and he prayed and he chanted this Kanakadhara Stotram. Kanakadhara Stotram. He chanted this whole heart. So he went there in the center. There's a temple there. He went there. By the time he got back to his room, phone calls and emails came and money came to his lap. This is the power of the Kanakadhara Stotra. Hmm? So we might think it's this ancient stotram. It has no relevance today. It's actually got such a great power for anybody who chants it. And when invoked in that way, when Lakshmi Devi is invoked in that way to create a stability, a security for us, she comes. She comes as Dhana Lakshmi. And if we use that wealth to give back to society, to keep giving, to keep the flow going on, she doesn't only come, she stays as Dhana Lakshmi. Sometimes, we become very allergic to the term when they say fundraising, we need funds. We get so allergic. There is this joke that's known. Once there was a ghost. There was a ghost, and he was staying in a house. And they tried to ward him off. They said, how do we get rid of this ghost? They tried all kinds of rituals, all kinds of mantra, tantra, yantra, everything. The ghost wouldn't leave. So one person said, I know how the ghost will leave. Tell the ghost there's going to be a fundraiser here. And the ghost will leave. And so they said, okay, we're setting up the fundraiser. And the ghost left. You know? So this is what happens. We become allergic whenever we hear these things. But it is it is a fact of life. So that we must acknowledge and we must use for the higher purpose. Dhana Lakshmi. Then she comes as Dhanya Lakshmi. Dhanya Lakshmi means Dhanya grain. So she comes as this Lakshmi who gives us food, who gives us grains, who gives us this nourishment. Without her, we would not be able to survive. There is this famous story in Orissa. In Orissa, Lakshmi Devi is very much revered there, especially in the month of Margashirsha. Margashirsha months are now like December, January. So she's very much revered because there's a story associated with it. There was this one devotee named Shriya, and Shriya was a Chandala. Now, Chandala means those people who are in charge of corpses. You know, they take care of corpses when they have to be burnt and everything like that. So those houses, not many people would go to Chandala's houses because they were in charge of corpses the whole day there with the corpse. And Mahalakshmi, she used to go out on Thursdays. She used to go disguise herself and visit people's homes to see what's happening, who's doing what. And so she went to some people's homes. They were still sleeping. Hardly they would get up. They wouldn't do any puja, nothing like that. But this Shriya was a Chandala. She would wake up very early. She would clean everything, prepare everything, and she would worship Lakshmi Devi. She would do puja for Lakshmi. So Lakshmi Devi went to her home and stayed with her, spent some time with her, and blessed her. Now, in Orissa, there's a famous Jagannath temple. So Jagannath and Balarama, they were walking and they saw Lakshmi Devi went to this Shriya's house. It was a Chandala. Balaram got very mad. Said, how can she go there? And he told Jagannath, who's none other than Bhagavan Krishna, you please tell Lakshmi Devi she can't come back to the temple because she has gone to those houses. Now, Jagannath is Bhagavan Krishna. He knows what's going on. So he said, let me watch this fun play. Let me watch it. So he told Lakshmi Devi, now I am stuck. Balaram said, you can't come back to the temple. So I don't know what to do. And Lakshmi Devi said, fine, I'm not coming back to the temple, but know this, you all won't be able to eat until I feed you. This is my curse. So Lakshmi Devi left the Jagannath temple. The next day morning, Jagannath ji and Balaram ji were sitting, breakfast didn't come. The breakfast didn't come. What happened? And Jagannath ji said, well, Lakshmi left. So he said, okay, fine, we'll make our own breakfast. They went to the kitchen. All of the kitchen associates, they all left also. They said, we're leaving with Lakshmi Devi. We're not staying here. We're not staying here. So what to do? Balaram and Jagannath ji, they went to beg to people's houses for food. They went begging, begging. Nobody would give them food. No one would give them food. Then Lakshmi Devi used her power. She said, let me do something. She made the environment very hot. So they got thirsty and they went to a pond. And they, just as they were going to the pond, they were like, finally we'll get some water. The pond dried up. Oh, they couldn't have water. They were so hungry, so hungry. They said, let us go to the trees and at least eat the leaf. Let's eat the leaf and be full. They went to the tree and all the leaves wilted. They couldn't even eat the leaf. Finally, they went to one place where they were serving prasad. They were serving prasad. So they said, we'll get some prasad and at least we can eat. Because in Jagannath temple, they're fed all the time. And this time they're not fed. So they put their hands out to beg And just as this puffed rice was coming, the wind blew it away and they couldn't have any food. They said, what to do now? And the people told them, you go to that Shriya Chandala's house. You go to her house and you eat there. So Balaramji went, Jagannathji went. Balaramji was still stubborn. He said, I am not eating here food cooked by them because they are taking care of the corpses. I will cook my own food. So they said, okay, fine. So Balaramji said, now Jagannath, you cook. I will go for a bath, you cook. So Bhagavan Krishna said, okay, I'll try and cook. He couldn't start the fire. The fire wouldn't start. Now Balaramji got so mad. He tried to start the fire, all smoke was coming out. Finally, he said, okay, please cook and feed us. Balaramji told Shriya in her house, please cook and feed us. And they cooked. And when the food came out, it was so incredibly delicious. And after the food, they got one cake also as dessert. And this cake is the cake that Lakshmi Devi would always serve them. So he knew that Lakshmi Devi had gone there. And Balaramji told Bhagavan Jagannath ji that please tell Lakshmi Devi, come back, come back. And I will never ever think this about anybody again. Anybody is welcome to Jagannath temple, and Lakshmi Devi is welcome to go into anyone's house to bless them. But please tell her to come back. And Jagannathji took Lakshmi Devi's hand and brought her back to the temple. And it is said to this day, the food, the preparations, everything is supervised by Mahalakshmi. And that's why it's very, very delicious. And if she's not satisfied with the food in the Jagannath Puri temple, a dog will come while they're cooking. And if a dog comes, they have to get rid of everything and start again. Because they believe that Mahalakshmi is there always supervising to make sure that they never run out of food. And do you know in that Jagannath Puri temple, thousands of people come to visit every day, thousands, but they never ever run out of food. That is because they're blessed by Dhanya Lakshmi. Hmm? This is also a form of Lakshmi, Dhanya Lakshmi. Now we go to Gaja Lakshmi. Gaja Lakshmi is this Lakshmi Devi with elephants. So you've all seen that form. Here, she comes as that form to take care of all animals, all cattle. So back in the day, that agriculture was the wealth. The animals, the elephants, the cows, all of that, the buffaloes, that was the wealth. So she comes to take care of all the animals to make sure no harm is done to them. That is Gaja Lakshmi. Once there was a story of Gajendra. Everybody knows about Gajendra, the lord of the elephants. He used to worship Bhagavan Narayana, and Lakshmi also used to worship Narayana. But Gajendra, because he's such a massive elephant, he took so long to worship Bhagavan Narayana. It took very long, took his own time. And by the time he finished one puja, Lakshmi Devi finished so many pujas. So Gajendra started crying and saying, what is this? I am so slow with my puja. So Narayan said, do one thing, Lakshmi Devi. You come as Gaja Lakshmi and you also do the puja there with Gajendra. You sit there with Gajendra, do the puja with him so that he will be pleased. So she came as Gaja Lakshmi, and Gajendra not only did puja to Narayana but also to Lakshmi, and she stayed with him and he was very, very pleased. So this is how she blessed him, Gaja Lakshmi. Now, Santana Lakshmi. Santana Lakshmi is that Lakshmi who blesses people with progeny. So nowadays, to have a child is not easy, not a very easy thing. So Lakshmi Devi is invoked because she also has come as the daughter of so many people. As the daughter of the Milky Ocean, she has come. As the daughter of King Janaka, Sita Devi, she has come. Hmm? As the daughter of the Rishi, she has come as Rukmini. So she has come as a daughter of so many. So she also blesses people with that progeny. It is said that one time Garuda spoke to Lakshmi Devi. Garuda said, I am not able to witness your marriage with Narayana. Every time you take birth with Narayana. I'm not there for all of the marriages. I want to take birth once where I witness your marriage to Narayana. Because I'm not there when Sita Rama married, I was not there. When Bhagavan Krishna took Rukmini away, I was not there. But I want to come and witness your wedding. So Lakshmi Devi said, fine, don't worry, I will bless you. And so Garuda, just said Garuda has taken birth as this Alvar. Alvar are these great, great saints who worshipped Bhagavan Narayana. He took birth as Vishnu Chittar, this devotee by the name of Vishnu Chittar. And this Vishnu Chittar used to worship Bhagavan Krishna with that Matra Bhava. Yeah, as Yashoda would take care of Bhagavan Krishna, he used to worship Bhagavan Krishna in that way. One day, the king of the court called him and said, I want you to expound on Veda. And he didn't really know anything, but he worshipped Lord Krishna, and out of his devotion, he went. And when he went there, the Vedas just came out of him just like that. He was able to expound on it very freely, very flowingly. And so the king said, you are an alvar, you are a saint. You are a saint, Vishnu Chittar, and may you be blessed. And on his way back, Vishnu Chittar had a vision of Narayana showering him with all of his blessings. So he is very, very pleased and happy. And as he was worshipping one day, he had a tulsi plant. By that tulsi plant, under that tulsi plant, one daughter emerged. One lovely, lovely daughter emerged. And he called her Godha. Godha means a gift from the earth. And he believed her to be a manifestation of Bhumi Devi. And so Vishnu Chittar took care of Godha. He considered her a great blessing and he worshipped her. And he taught her how to worship Bhagavan Krishna. So Vishnu Chittar was very much devoted. He would go to the temple every day, making garlands and garlands and garlands for Bhagavan. And so he would show Godha what he was doing. He would sing praises of Krishna. He would talk about Krishna. So Godha naturally fell in love with Krishna. One day, Vishnu Chittar noticed something. On the garlands that he was making for Krishna, he noticed a strand of hair. And so he went to Godha and he got very mad. He said, is this your hair? And she said, yes. He said, how did he get here? She said, I'll tell you a secret. Every day, before you go to the temple, I wear the garlands that you're going to put on Krishna. And I look at myself, imagining myself to be a bride, and I secretly keep them back. And so my hair got stuck into the garland. And Vishnu Chittar got very mad. He said, okay, never mind. I'll make a new garland. And he offered it to Bhagavan Krishna. That night, Bhagavan came in his dream and said, why did you offer me this garland? I only want the garland of Godha. And when Vishnu Chittar heard that, he cried. He cried and cried. And he said, I didn't even see the beauty of the devotion of my daughter. I didn't even see it. And ever since then, he only offered the garland that Godha had worn to Bhagavan Krishna. Now Godha was growing up, and she had to be married now. And she said, I will only marry Swami Ranganatha. That Bhagavan Krishna, that's Swami Ranganatha. I will only marry him. Vishnu Chittar said, what is this? How will you marry him? But anyway, he had a dream to bring her to that temple where he used to worship Krishna in the form of Sri Ranganatha. He brought her to that temple. And when he brought her to the temple, he was feeling very sad. How will I offer my daughter to Bhagavan? Will he really come and take her? And he was crying and having tears in his eyes. Then Mahalakshmi appeared to him. She said, Vishnu Chittar, do you remember you asked to witness my wedding with Narayana? You are actually Garuda. And today I, as Goda, am going to marry Sri Ranganatha, my Narayana. In that way, that Goda merged into Sri Ranganatha, and she was now called Andal. Andal means that lady who conquered Bhagavan with her love and her devotion. And she is the only female Alvar saint today. Hmm? So that way, Bhagavati Lakshmi is Santana Lakshmi. She blesses us with progeny. Huh? Next is Dhairya Lakshmi. Dhairya Lakshmi. This is the Lakshmi of courage. So don't think that, Lakshmi is just very calm, very pleasant, and all of that. She's not strong. She's super strong, so courageous. This Dhairya Lakshmi, the Dhirata, we can see in Devi Sita. Now, everybody knows the story of Ramayana. So I'm just going to highlight a few incidents where Sita's strength and courage really came out. One is, see, when Sri Rama had to go to the forest, Sita didn't have to go. Sita was not asked to go to the forest. In fact, the rishi said, let Sita rule Ayodhya. They said, Sita has that wisdom, has that courage, let her rule Ayodhya, let Sri Ram go. She herself said, no, I'm not staying here because my place is with my husband. I have married him and I am his Sahadharmacharini. Sahadharmacharini is the person, that companion who is along with you, who lives the life of Dharma to eventually make your way to Brahma. And so Sita Devi played the role of Sahadharmacharini. She said, I have taken this Dharma to be your wife. I will come with you. There may be hardships in the forest. That's okay. I'll endure them. I will bear them, but I will come with you. That is one thing. The next thing is, when Kaikai met her in Chitrakoot, she didn't have any ill feelings for her. She gave her that due love and due respect that a daughter would give her mother. That she gave Kaikai. She did not hold any grudge against her. Now there's so many issues in families, no? So it's in-law issue, spouse issue, child issue. But Sita Devi, she didn't hold anything like that. She let it go. And it takes courage to let that go. Hmm? Then, when she was with Hanumanji, first we'll go to Ravan, then we'll go to Hanumanji. Ravan, when she was with Ravan, he took her and he tempted her so many times. Now, Sita never gave in to Ravan. Now, mind you, this was Ravan. This is a mighty force, Ravan. All his ministers were so scared of him. They were so scared of him that they didn't want to tell him what he was doing was wrong. They didn't have the guts to stand up to him. People would just praise him because they were afraid of him. But Sita was never afraid of Ravan. She was never even afraid of telling Ravan that look at where my Rama is and look at where you are. You will come to your ruins. You will only go get destroyed. You should be ashamed of yourself. She would speak to Ravan like this freely. She was not afraid of him at all. Never once did she waver from her goal, which was Sri Rama. Then when Hanumanji came to her, Hanumanji said, Sita Devi, you are here. I will take you back here and now. You don't need to wait for Sri Rama. I will take you back here and now. And Sita Devi said, no, you don't need to take me back. I will wait for Sri Rama to come because the glory should come with him. And she stayed. Now imagine somebody who's going through so much pain, so much suffering. Still, she doesn't give in. She says, I am not going to go with you. I will stay. Let Sri Rama come to me. And mind you, it's not that Sita Devi didn't have that strength to defeat Ravana. In fact, Mandodari says to Ravana, you can be defeated by Sita Devi's tapasya, but she won't do it. She won't do it because she wants everything to have the proper order and everything to be in its proper place. Her tapasya was so pure, so much so that, did you ever wonder when Hanumanji burnt the whole Lanka with his tail didn't get burnt? His tail was cool. Why? Sita prayed to Agni Devta. Said, Agni Devta, if I am pure, if I am austere, if I am strong, let Hanumanji burn Lanka, but keep his tail cool so that he doesn't suffer the pain. And so all of this courage was found in Sita Devi, who's also an incarnation of this Mahalakshmi, great Lakshmi. So Dhairya Lakshmi. Then we have Vidya Lakshmi. Vidya Lakshmi is the Lakshmi of knowledge. So Lakshmi Devi gives us this knowledge that we need to live and survive in the world. One time, when Brahmaji, he created his Sapta Rishis, 7 Rishis, 6 of them prayed for enlightenment. They said, we want to be enlightened. Now, one of them said, we have to also live in this world. So let us also look into how we can live in this world and also be enlightened. This was Bhrigu Rishi. So Bhrigu Rishi first prayed to Goddess Lakshmi. Material prosperity to secure myself so I can seek that higher. Because his teacher Varuna told him, listen, Bhrigu, in this world there are only 2 beings, those who eat, those who are eaten. That's it. This is the way the world is. So learn to sustain yourself, learn to secure yourself. And with that ability, with that knowledge, seek the higher. And Bhrigu learned all of this knowledge, and this knowledge is called Bhrigu Samhita. And because Bhrigu learned this knowledge, those other rishis also came to him. They said, we also need your help because we are striving for enlightenment, but we also need basic food, basic shelter, basic home. We also need this. So we also want to learn. So Bhrigu taught them this Bhrigu Samhita. And because Bhrigu got this knowledge from invoking Goddess Lakshmi, the rishi said that Goddess Lakshmi is like your daughter. And Goddess Lakshmi got the name Bhargavi. Bhargavi, because she's like the daughter of Bhrigu Rishi, who gave Bhrigu Rishi that knowledge. Vidya Lakshmi. Then the 8th Lakshmi is Jaya Lakshmi or Vijaya Lakshmi, that Lakshmi of victory. See, what carries us to victory, we can find in this very simple story. We know that Lakshmi Devi also came as Rukmini, right? She also came as Rukmini. So once the Devatas said, we are going to take Bhagavan Krishna. There's a lot of work here in Swarga Loka. We are taking Bhagavan Krishna. And Satyabhama said, no, you can't take him. He is here with us. And the Devata said, okay, let's do one thing. We will put Bhagavan Krishna on a weighing scale, right? We'll put Bhagavan Krishna on a weighing scale. And if what you have is heavier than Bhagavan Krishna, you keep him. So Satyabhama said, fine, I will do that. And she put all of her jewelry, all of her gold, all of her accessories, she put everything there on the weighing scale. And still, it was not moving. Nothing was moving. She emptied all of the vaults in the palace. Bhagavan Krishna was on one side, all the gold, everything was on the other side. Still, it was not moving. And Satyabhama she was just distraught. She said, how are we going to keep Bhagavan Krishna here? We can't get anything heavier than him. How are we going to? I've put all my gold, all my jewelry, I've emptied all of the vaults. So then she called Rukmini. She said, Rukmini, what do we do? Rukmini said, empty out all of the gold and everything. Empty everything out. And Rukmini, with her pure love, she put one tulsi there. And that one tulsi was so heavy that Bhagavan Krishna was so light and swinging on the weighing scale. And with that, she had kept Bhagavan Krishna. The Devata said, you can keep Bhagavan Krishna. This is Vijaya Lakshmi. We think that in the world, we win people by wealth. We win people by fame, by connections, by relationships. But the true way to win people is through love. When we love someone, then we win them. You can be the president of a country. You can have all kinds of things at your beck and call. But if you have not won the hearts of the people, that's not victory. We can win lots of property, lots of social network. We can win all of that. We've not won the hearts of those people around us. We have not won anything. People sometimes are very good outside, but in their house, nobody listens to them. If we have not won the hearts of our family, our very own kith and kin, we have not won. So Vijaya Lakshmi is there to tell us that love is what brings true victory. True victory doesn't lie in all these possessions, in all relationships. It lies in love. And in this way, when we see the 8 forms of Bhagavan Lakshmi, we recognize her glory, her greatness. That it's not just this inner wealth, not just this outer wealth. It is its nourishment, its progeny, its virtues, its qualities, its love, its courage, its strength, its knowledge. It is an all-encompassing grace of glory and splendor. So I pray that as we reflect on Goddess Lakshmi even deeper, may her qualities come to be born in us. And may we ever be at the feet of service towards others so that we continue to grow in love, in glory, and in truth. Hari Om. Say the closing prayer. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.